And I'm going to be chairing today's session, or this morning's session, which is with Sparkle. So Sparkle have been awarded the contract to be supplier for Google Cloud Platform on the Okra Cloud framework. And that means the whole suite of Google Cloud Platform services will be available under the framework. I think it's worth stressing, cloud is no longer just about VMs and storage and networking. So the whole suite of stuff is available, including the sort of AI and machine learning platforms, the Cloud Life Sciences platform that's available from Google, and so on. So there's a whole range of stuff there that is available. Sparkle was a supplier under the previous Jayant IaaS framework, so they're very familiar with the way the Jayant frameworks operate. And they will be leading on the session this morning. So with that, let me hand over to Sparkle for their presentation. We'll take Q&A at the end of the session, I think, which you can either do by coming onto audio or by asking in the Q&A panel at the bottom. So with that, let me hand over to Sparkle. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. My name is Paolo Perulli. Let me just share my screen so we can get the presentation ready. Okay, you should see it in a second.
Yeah, we've got it.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. My name is Paolo Perulli, and here I'm representing Sparkle. As Andy just said, we've been awarded as provider for GCP and workspace within the Okra framework. I really appreciate the opportunity to meeting you all today, although virtually, unfortunately, and I also thank JISC for making this happen. So I will go through a brief introduction of the company. I wouldn't be surprised if someone of you haven't heard about Sparkle, but actually Sparkle is part of one of the, let me say, world telco pioneering champions, which is Telecom Italia Group, commercially known as TIM. As you can see from here, our domestic key markets today are mainly Italy and Brazil, where we serve as market leader over 100 million customers with fixed, mobile, and ICT services. TIM, and the meantime, is leading the UBB revolution, both in Italy and Brazil, with the infrastructure you see here. And but also we have been developing significant IT infrastructure and capabilities, becoming one of the preferred provider for cloud services, both for corporate and for SME market. As you can see, Sparkle is part of the group, and it actually is the international arm of Telecom Italia, managing one of the largest voice and data network all over the world, as well as a good bunch of IT infrastructure serving not only our network, but also providing cloud services to companies and public administration. We became one of the key provider in the markets where we developed local data centers like Greece and Turkey. Here you see what we do in terms of portfolio, along with some figures describing the scale of our business. As you can see, we have a global presence in more than 34 countries with local offices and with a head count of nearly 800 people, both in Italy and abroad. This picture doesn't just show our global network, but also help me to underline how Sparkle and Google are close and complementary despite appearances. The base brick of our business is connectivity, has always been that, but we also been very successful into the cloud market, while Google, besides its traditional core capabilities, we all know, has developed, as you all know, a massive capacity capability. So this picture is really reminds me what Google can show as well. But as I was saying, we are complementary. So it's not by chance that we share some of our infrastructure all over the world. We also are partnering together in building new cable systems. So it's not by chance that we are here today together to present you the extraordinary capabilities of GCP, together with our ability to serve customers worldwide. So as mentioned before, we've been awarded as the sole provider for GCP and Workspace in 27 out of the 41 countries within the OKRA framework, and the United Kingdom is among those. As Andy said before, this is not new to us because we've been awarded last year during the last framework, which was GÉANT framework. So we are actively collaborating with all the NRANs, national RANs, like TISC, in order to spread the knowledge about the framework in all the eligible countries. These are some of the references we got from the last version of the framework. So we've been working serving all the major institutions, research institutions and universities in Europe. Just a few words before I leave the floor to Jim to introduce one more added value to our proposition, which is the part related to professional services. Nuvol, which is the company you see described here, is part of Telecom Italia Group, has been acquired actually last year, and it used to be the largest Google partner in Italy. Then we acquired that as Telecom Italia, and now the Nuvol is actually part of our value proposition, where we can leverage on their experience to provide professional services, as well as free orientation webinars to our customers where needed. In some European countries, including the UK, we can also leverage on the partnership we are establishing with local Google certified service providers. So we are Italians, but we can count on a solid local support if needed. This is all from me for now, so I would leave the floor to Jim, and then I will be back at the end of this speech for some more information about the framework condition for Google Cloud Services. Jim.
Thanks very much, Paolo. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jim Levi from Google Cloud, and I will just share my screen quickly. And I was going to spend a bit of time talking at a high level about the Google Cloud services that are available under the OKRA framework. Google Cloud was not on the previous GÉANT framework, so we're really pleased that partnering with Sparkle, we are now accessible, or our services are now accessible through OKRA. So I was going to spend a bit of time talking a bit about Google Cloud overall, high-level look at some of the services and programs, and also close on a couple of particular commercial offerings that we can offer through Sparkle under the OKRA framework. So, you know, at a very high level, what is Google Cloud, and what are the services that are now accessible through the OKRA framework? And you know, there's really a whole gamut of cloud services available. Firstly, as a software as a service offering, there is what was called G Suite, is now called Google Workspace for Education, that provides a comprehensive productivity and work transformation suite that is available through the OKRA framework, as are then a whole range and a very comprehensive range of infrastructure and platform as a service. And we look at that really in these 5 different areas. First of all, infrastructure as a service, so computing, virtual machines, storage, the core cloud services. Then a whole range of complementary services in the area of smart analytics, data management and databases, API management and integration, and application platform, particularly modern application development, multi and hybrid clouds using containerization and Kubernetes. Supporting that, and very specifically for higher education and other public research organizations, we have a whole set of programs that are also accessible through Okra and from Google Cloud to institutions. And these really span a range of offerings that are there to help organizations in their teaching and research. So there's a whole range of offerings available to support institutions that might wish to teach with and on Google Cloud. That includes credits, so free access to Google Cloud resources, as well as quite a lot of curriculum and online learning. And that includes Coursera e-learning courses and something called Quick Labs, which provides a range of hands-on labs to help people practice their skills in GCP. And that then feeds into certification, and there are certification programs for workspace and collaboration, as well as specific programs for data science, for cloud operations, for data management, and so on. So a very comprehensive range available for teaching and learning, and there are some institutions in the UK already taking advantage of that. The offering that I've ringed, which I think is particularly key, are the research credits offering, which is an open program for any researcher in any university to apply for free use of Google Cloud Platform. And effectively any permanent member of faculty can apply online for these credits. We do a bit of vetting, so as long as it's a legitimate research project, as long as you haven't previously applied for credits for the same project, and you're a genuine academic, we will grant 12 months and $5,000 worth of credits to use Google Cloud Platform to support your research. In addition, PhD students can also apply and can get $1,000 of credits in a similar way. And then also, where we're directly engaged with Sparkle, for example, with a specific institution, there can be an opportunity to grant additional research credits if there's a particularly interesting research project or a particularly large and significant project that we are interested to support. Then we now have some flexibility with a small number of institutions to provide additional research credits. And again, we can offer that through the Okra framework. So that's a bit about the programs. If we then go into talk about Google Cloud, there may be people on the call who are quite familiar with Google Cloud, but there's a lot of people that are completely unfamiliar with Google Cloud, and they immediately think of Google and think of Google as a consumer offering. And that immediately prompts questions and concerns, very legitimate questions and concerns about privacy. And just wanted to emphasize that Google Cloud is a completely separate service from the Google consumer offerings that many of you may use. So within Google Cloud, you as a user of Google Cloud, I guess obviously, but it often needs to be repeated, own your data. It's not owned by Google. Google will never sell any of your data to third parties. We don't use any of your data or any of the services for advertising. So utterly different from the way a consumer free at the point of use internet service operates. All of the data, your data is encrypted at rest and in transit by default across the whole of Google Cloud. And we have a large number of policies, procedures, and technology in place to guard against insider access to your data. And it's all publicly audited against international standards. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. I think the other thing that doesn't come up so often in the UK, but comes up all the time in the rest of Europe is about government entity backdoor access, particularly US government access. And we never give government backdoor access. And we resist very strongly any government requests for access to data. And we publish transparency reports about any requests that are made to access to your data. So privacy is absolutely fundamental to the service. And that's backed up with security, where we believe that we're world leaders in security from your device through to the data centers. The entire Google network is built to be secure by design. We're taking advantage of what we've learned in terms of running the global consumer service. But we have a very large privately managed network. We partner with organizations such as Sparkle. And we very much take the approach that as soon as possible, we put customer data into the private network rather than leaving it on the public internet. We have a whole host of standard data protection APIs so that you can redact sensitive data with over 90 predefined detectors. And as I mentioned, we encrypt by default at rest. And in addition, we have additional security offerings, including confidential computing, which enables encryption in processing, taking advantage of AMD EPYC hardware for that. I mentioned certifications. We have a constantly evolving set of independent third-party audits and certifications. Most of these certificates are available for public download on our Google Cloud Compliance website. And this is constantly being updated. And we work very closely with regulators, including the European Union and many others. So, in terms of privacy, security, compliance, very confident that we can work with organizations on this meeting to ensure that both we're protecting your data, but also from a compliance legal perspective, we're obeying all the relevant regulations and laws. If we look at what the various technologies offer and how is Google Cloud different, what do we offer that the many other infrastructure and platform as a service cloud services that are on an Okra framework include, and how do we perhaps look at cloud a little differently? I think the first really important difference with Google Cloud is that we very much recognize that we live in a hybrid and multi-cloud world. And indeed, from a Google perspective, and Google very much embraces and provides a lot of resources to the open source community, we embrace that and support that and provide a range of solutions to actually support you in running hybrid and multi-cloud solutions. So one offering that we have is called Anthos. This enables you to run containerized workloads using Kubernetes, which of course originally Google invented, but using containers to actually run these containers on on-premise hardware, on AWS, on Azure, on Google Cloud. And this we very much see as the future. Our view of the cloud is that we're in the very, very early stages of cloud adoption, and that it absolutely will be a hybrid and multi-cloud world. And so we're working very hard on the middleware to enable you to run and take advantage of the various on-premise and cloud services that are out there, taking advantage of Kubernetes and other open source technologies. We also have a number of services. We have a product called Apigee for API management, but also many capabilities within Google Cloud Platform to connect, integrate, and ensure that you can embrace legacy or heritage applications within more modern cloud environments. And of course, very much embracing and leading with open source across all of our technologies. I think the second area that we do an awful lot of work, and I guess if we think of Google generally, one thing that Google focuses on hugely is to be helpful to our users, to make everything very, very easy to use, be that search, maps, or the other consumer services. And we try and bring that sensibility to Google Cloud to, as much as possible, automate operations and make everything as easy to use as possible. So as an example, our cloud-based data warehouse offering, BigQuery, can automatically scale to thousands of cores in seconds. It's a serverless data warehouse, and we recognize that what our customers want to do is actually run a data warehouse. They don't want to manually reconfigure thousands of virtual machines because they have a burst of data warehouse work. We also have a marketplace called the Google Cloud Platform Marketplace, where you can actually quite genuinely click to deploy applications from the marketplace into your secure Google Cloud environment. And also through the Google Cloud Console, we provide something called right-sizing recommendations to actually help you optimize your costs and optimize your usage of Google Cloud Platform, to actually reduce your spend using our AI and machine learning to help support you in automatically saving money as you use Google Cloud Platform. The other really big area of Google Cloud capability is artificial intelligence and machine learning. And again, these are built on what we've learned over 20 years of providing public internet service, but are very much around taking that learning, taking that research, and then making that available to you within Google Cloud Platform. And there's a number of areas that we work on. The first is really around trying to democratize artificial intelligence and machine learning, where we have a number of facilities such as AutoML, BigQuery ML, that are really designed for developers and even business users to make use of artificial intelligence without needing their own data scientists. So really start to do things like image recognition, voice recognition, and so on, without needing to train models, without needing to build their own models, to really make use of some of these capabilities very easily and very readily. We've got huge depth of AI and ML services. For example, our speech to text now supports more than 120 language variants. So huge range of services. And then if we look at some of the more sophisticated services, we actually have purpose-built Google hardware available through Google Cloud called the TPU, the Tensor Processing Unit, that optimizes the construction of TensorFlow models. And that can actually be from 15 to 30 times faster than making use of the GPUs and CPUs that are also available. And all in all, we have over 120 products in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Indeed, we could spend multiple days doing a briefing on the AI and ML. But again, a a huge area of focus, a huge area of development, and really a part of the cloud landscape where Google Cloud is a leader. I think then we come on to compute. I won't read every line from this slide. You'll be happy to know, but within the compute engine offering, we've got an enormous range of offerings. So comprehensive set of general purpose virtual machines, make use of the latest technology, the latest NVIDIA GPUs, Intel Optane memory, and so on. Compute optimized virtual machines for research and high performance computing. A very rich set of networking offerings. So that can obviously be for tightly coupled networking, but also if you're looking at global networking, again, a very rich set of offerings there. With custom machine types, you can actually build whatever virtual machine you like based on the hardware that's available in our data centers. So we provide a recommendation engine for optimum machine sizes, but you can tune and configure really to your heart's content to customize your machine types. We also have an offering called preemptible virtual machines. And this is where you can make use of free resource in our data centers, make use of this resource for up to 24 hours, and make use of it through custom machine types as well. So these preemptible virtual machines can be very useful for bursty workloads, such as genomics, for example, that can very, very rapidly spin up, take advantage of free capacity, and then retire, and can cope with interruptions. And that's a very low cost way of taking advantage of the scalability of Google Cloud. And then a whole range of storage options, and that ranges from multiple partners. So for example, you can use NetApp, DDN, Elastifile, and others. Then, as you'd expect, object storage, block storage, file storage, but then more managed storage offerings. So in-memory databases, different relational databases, so Cloud SQL, a Google Cloud unique technology called Cloud Spanner, which is designed to scale globally for really, and is made use of, for example, by global games providers and others, but again is available to anybody. NoSQL databases, and as I mentioned earlier, the BigQuery data warehouse. So very comprehensive set of storage offerings. Moving on from what are the products and what are the technologies we offer, as well as the commercial offering that Sparkle will talk a bit about later. Google Cloud has a number of additional offerings that we can provide through Sparkle under the Okra framework. And the first one of these is something called a committed use discount, or a commit contract. And this is where, if as an organization you wish to commit up front to a very significant amount of Google Cloud usage over 1 year or up to 3 years, and in fact in some cases for more than 3 years, you can effectively commit to a usage of Google Cloud resources. And that, for example, would be, let's say, for the sake of argument, £500,000 worth of Google Cloud. That could be capacity planned to assume a certain amount of resource, but you would have flexibility under this commit contract to change the mix of resources. And in that sort of contract, we will be able to provide additional discounts through Sparkle to you as a committed customer, and also have predictable overage fees and so on, if, for example, you use more than that commit. So a commit contract is another way for really committed users of Google Cloud to secure larger discounts than the already generous discounts under Okra. Then another offering, and this is a new offering that we have, is something called the Google Cloud Subscription Agreement for Public Sector. And in some ways, this is similar to Commit, but has one vital difference, which is very much that it's built around a specific workload. So for example, you might choose to use Google Cloud for a student engagement service, driving chatbots, driving learning analytics, perhaps driving a contact center, and working with our customer engineers, you can size the estimated Google Cloud usage of that service. We will then guarantee a fee, an annual fee for that service as a subscription. So effectively offer it as a software as a service offering. You as the institution can then go over what you've committed. So if, for example, the service has far higher usage than we anticipated, or it's more successful, or it goes over, there will be no overage fees. Effectively, Google Cloud puts skin in the game and takes a risk that you may use more Google Cloud resources than we'd originally planned. And this subscription offering is also made available through Okra and through Sparkle. And we think this is very, very appealing, particularly for brand new services or brand new offerings or experimentation, where there's often a big concern about what happens if this goes way over what we expected it to, and we're then faced with huge fees. This takes the uncertainty out of that for defined workloads. So that's all I was going to talk about. Was now going to hand back over to Paolo, who will talk a bit more about the commercial offerings from Sparkle.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. Very interesting. I'll be taking a lot of notes actually, because it's always interesting to learn about all the capabilities of the Google Cloud Platform and also for Workspace. So let me just take a few minutes more to complete our pitch with some, let me say, practical information about the actual value that your institution may get by fulfilling their requirements through the framework. So these are, just to recap, all the services that we can supply under the framework. So Google Cloud, Google Workspace, sorry, and last but not least, professional services. As I was saying, this is very important, not just to help you develop in your use case, but also to let you understand exactly, to orientate on your needs to scale it properly, and this is available together with Nuvo or together with the local partner which has been selected for the country. So to go on the frame condition in a nutshell, so we can provide a 6% flat discount on the public price list of Google services. Flat means that this discount is available for all contracts despite their value, and this is very important. And there is, as Jim was mentioning before, there is also an additional discount based on the volume of the contract and the duration of the contract. Here you see a table showing the figures, but this is just to say that you can get, I mean, by committing for a certain period of time, you can get a very important discount, coupling all the discounts available in the framework. And then another value is the full data egress waiver. So Sparkle will apply no charge for the traffic generated from Google resources, and this is full because there is no limit for of this egress waiver for regardless the contract value. And last but not least, again, the workshop. So we are glad to of being here for 1 hour to talk about all the capabilities and all the possibilities of adopting Google Cloud Services and Google Workspace. But again, we are ready to hold a dedicated workshop together with you, whether you need it to answer to all your questions, to be more focused on any specific subject you may require. This is all. These are our contacts. And talking about questions, I guess that this is the Q&A time. So I would just leave the floor to the OCRA staff in order to manage the Q&A if there is any need of clarification. Thank you very much to everybody.
Perfect. Thank you very much to Paolo and Jim for that really informative session. There are no questions are coming up in the Q&A. I will throw the floor open if people have got questions. Alec or Jessica, can people ask, can they come on camera and ask, or do they have to ask through the Q&A box?
That's a good question. I think they can. Katie, can they come on the camera, or it's just all through the voice? Katie's not there.
While people are thinking about questions, I have one, which I think is probably for a combination of Paolo and Jim potentially. The committed use discount on the slide you showed, it sounded like there was some small print there, which sounded like you have to be using Google Cloud Platform for a year before you're eligible for that, or was I misreading? If you're an existing Google Cloud Platform customer, can you jump straight into OCRA and ask for a 3-year commitment discount, for example?
Yeah, so commits, actually most organizations that use a commit contract are existing GCP users, because they typically they have, in some cases, significant monthly billing. And so, yes, an existing customer can very definitely move to a commit contract, and we would then work with Sparkle on putting that together. So yes, the minimum period for a commit is 12 months though.
Okay. All right. And I suppose a related question then, if I'm a GCP customer buying direct from Google at the moment, presumably I don't even know the labels for this, my account setup and so on can be transitioned into OCRA quite seamlessly, can it?
Yes, it can. Yeah.
And does Sparkle, they handle that for me as a customer?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So we do have one other chat. Okay, so just to say, Jim has kindly offered, if people have questions that they don't want to ask here, then Jim Levi, JimLevi@google.com. Jim is more than happy to take questions offline. That's good.
Yeah, I'm conscious I didn't put my email address on any of my slides, which I normally would do. So apologies for that.
No worries. Okay, we still don't have any questions.
No, there's one, but that's received from our customers. I noticed you already mentioned about data egress charge, and there's so many of our customers have asked that. Can you just clarify? Is that 100% egress waiver, or is just no commission charged by Sparkle?
No, is totally great. I would leave the floor to Andrea for this because maybe he is more into this.
Yes, good morning to everybody. My name is Andrea Livatino, and I am another account manager of Sparkle involved in the framework and in the project. So regarding the data egress waiver, our offer is to exempt everything. So normally there is a cap of the 15% of the contract value that it is what is offered by the cloud providers. And in this case also from Google. In the Sparkle offer, there is the total exemption. So the data egress for the eligible traffic is exempted at all.
That's brilliant.
Cool. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to give you 30 more seconds to ask your questions, and then we'll wrap up if there are none. It was obviously a very clear presentation. I have to commend you both on that because there appear to be no further questions. Okay, let me say thank you very much both to the Sparkle team, so particularly to Paolo and to Jim at Google for your presentations. Let me quickly hand over to Alec, who I think will tell us about the next session, which is at 11 o'clock.
Great, thank you. And thanks, Jim, Paolo, and the team.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Sure.
Bye-bye.